Well, we have some weather to talk about tonight as it is Saturday evening. Good Saturday evening to everyone out there. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson. And weather, honestly, it's going to take a bit of that warmer, that more hotter turn that we have been talking about for the past couple of days, and we're going to continue to talk about as mostly dry conditions continue under our high pressure. Also, warm to well above normal temperatures dominate. Near record highs are possible by Tuesday through Thursday next week, and low humidity and lingering fire conditions remain a factor as we go throughout the rest of the weekend. So, that's all what's on tap for tonight. And we're going to get into it right now. Make sure if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, go in and do so. So as we go in and look at what's going on in terms of our current conditions, right now, nothing. We're nice and dry, and no rainfall is going on throughout the entire state. But if we scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., rainfall going on all throughout the central U.S., all throughout the West, and you can see even some severe weather going on as well over here inside of eastern Colorado, going inside of western Kansas, even over here inside of Montana. There is some severe weather going on, rainfall going on up here inside of the Midwest and over here in the Pacific Northwest, California, down into Texas. We have some flooding. And then compare that to what's going on in the East right now. I mean, we have nice dry conditions over here in the East as they have not so dry conditions over here in the West. So what's going on right now in terms of our cloud cover? Cloud cover right now seems to be more kind of just off to our north and west. Not really too much of inside of the state. And even if you go into our future, we go on and push this forward into tonight. Definitely still clear. As you move into tomorrow morning, cloud cover again just continuing to stay off towards the north and to the east and just around us in general. And as you continue all the way to 1 p.m., 2 p.m., even to 3 p.m. Sunday here tomorrow, cloud cover continues to kind of move its way over into the east, and it will also impact us as we go into not only tomorrow night, but as we go into Monday morning. Look at this cloud cover Monday morning, completely covered up on Monday, and as we move into Monday afternoon. Now for our current temperatures right now, we have around 65 in Somerville, 64, Charleston, 66 in Beaufort, and 68 in Orangeburg, 65 Conway, Myrtle Beach, as well as 69 in Florence, 71 in Georgetown, 68 from Newberry, Greenwood, and 69 all the way from Greenville, 68 Spartanburg, Gaffney, and Rock Hill. Now for our air quality, for the most part, we're inside of the moderate category. I think that we are going to continue to kind of see this potentially as we go into tomorrow, but it's not the worst. Definitely not the worst. We're kind of just looking at more of a 51 to an 100 out of a scale that goes all the way from 301 plus. So if you do go outside tonight for a long period of time, just, keep an eye on it, but it's nothing too crazy. Low temperatures for tonight, we have around 56 all the way from Greenville, and then 55, just mid 50s in general, all the way throughout the upstate, even throughout the Midlands, going throughout the low country a little bit, going to like the lower 50s from Walterboro at 52. Coastal areas getting to like the higher 50s, around 58, Charleston 60, Hilton Head Island 60, Myrtle Beach over there, 56 in Georgetown, Florence, 55 Tehran, Dillon. And then high temperatures for tomorrow. It's going to be a hot one tomorrow. I mean, we're talking about high 80s potentially getting on throughout the Midlands, Columbia, Aiken, going on over there near Orangeburg. Maybe even mid 80s as well around that. Greenwood, Barnwell, Sumter. Then we start getting towards like the more cooler temperatures near those coastal areas. 77 from Hilton Head Island through Charleston, 79 in Georgetown. And then just continuing to be in the 80s pretty much everywhere else. More like lower to mid 80s from the upstate, Greenville, Spartanburg, Rock Hill, to the PD areas like Tehran, Dillon, and Florence. For our rainfall, that is a little drop that you see right there. That is a little drop of rainfall that you see right there over here inside of, I believe that's Clarendon and Sumter counties over there. And for the most part, I do believe that this is kind of just possibly from earlier because, I look at the models and the models don't really say too much in terms of like the next 48 hours. So I'm really wondering why that little area is there. But for right now, if you did get a shower earlier in that area, just to the east of Sumter, southwest of Florence, well, good for you. You definitely do need the rainfall, so great if you did. But for right now, looking like that, we are mostly just looking at mostly dry conditions. Crazy score, we're at an 8. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are, and right now we're at an 8 for tonight. Why? Well, mainly just because it's going to be another nice night. Mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, fully dry. We're talking about temperatures getting a bit low, but for the most part, staying mild. Light winds becoming calm. Increasing humidity with mild dew points, creating a little comfortable feel. And everything just looks tranquil as we go into tonight. SPC outlook for tonight as well. Thunderstorms not expected tonight, tomorrow, or Monday. So we are good in terms of thunderstorm activity. And fire weather, same thing. Excessive rainfall, same thing. So let's go and look at the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you go in and pay attention to that because that is very important to go in and look out for as we go in and push our way forward all the way through into 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. And we just continue to push into tomorrow afternoon. You're not seeing a single drop of rainfall as we go into tomorrow in general. Even as you go into 12 o'clock in the morning on Monday, not a single drop of rain. This continues all the way into Monday, like 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock, 10, 11. Again, nice and dry. Nice and dry for us as we go throughout the next 48 hours, which is not great for the drought. Obviously, we are inside of a drought right now. You see up there in the upstate, especially over there inside of the western low country as well. And then D2, that is the severe drought. D3, that's the red, that's the extreme drought. And D1, that's the tan, that's the moderate drought. And the D0 over there for the lucky county of Barnwell and very southern Aiken counties, they don't have a drought right now. So let's go in and look at our long-term future. So again, make sure you pay attention to that time. And as we just go on and push this forward, you definitely can see those dry conditions remain not only as you go into tomorrow, maybe Monday, but through Tuesday, through Wednesday, through Thursday, through Friday. We're just continuing to stay dry as we continue throughout the rest of this week, going into next week. And then as you get into maybe around next weekend, we're talking about a cold front that may try to move through. But does it bring much in terms of rainfall? Not really. It may bring some for sure, but it's not going to bring a whole lot. And that's going to bring us, cooler temperatures, obviously, as we get through into the week after next week. Maybe some beneficial rainfall as we get towards the end parts of April, but I'm not seeing anything too promising as we go throughout the next 0 to 300 hours or so. Now, if we go on and look at our just total precipitation as we go throughout the next 300 hours or so, just seeing how much rainfall we could potentially get. Total QPF right now, they're saying not much. This is the deterministic. So this is from the GFS deterministic model. They're talking about around 1/10 of an inch max. And that's about it. Just around 1/10 of an inch max. Maybe 1/2 an inch in areas. But this goes all the way through Saturday, April the 25th. Now, guarantee that cold front is going to change up. Cold air is going to get stronger, weaker. Precipitation may get higher, lower. So we're definitely talking about a difference in terms of our cold front as we continue throughout like the next 300 to 400 hours or so. But we'll continue to keep an eye on that and see what happens there. And even if we go on and look at the official forecast from the National Weather Service or from the Weather Prediction Center, they say as we go throughout the next 7 days, not a drop of rainfall. I know you can't see it right now, but right here, not a drop of rainfall. Not a drop throughout the next 7 days for us over here inside of the state of South Carolina from the Weather Prediction Center. So we're going to continue to stay in these dry conditions, and with these dry conditions, obviously, comes a threat. That threat being fire weather. You have no rainfall falling. You have dry conditions. If you go and look at the humidity here, we go into tomorrow. Look at how dry we are. We're getting down into the 20s. We get into Monday. things start to moisten up a little bit, and it seems like as we get more and more into the week, things may try to moisten up a little bit, but we're still having relative humidity values down into the 20s as we continue throughout the rest of the week. This is Wednesday, this is Thursday, this is Friday. I mean, we're continuing to stay in the 20s and 30s for our relative humidity values. So even though it's not technically going to be maybe as breezy or maybe as dry, still, with no rainfall, this could definitely start a fire, man. It definitely could spread. So make sure that you just are aware of it, obviously, just because of these dry conditions. Speaking of that, let's go on and look at the actual temperature anomalies first, and we'll look at the actual temperatures, then we'll go on and talk with the audience. So, obviously, as we go on and move this forward into tomorrow, we're going to be talking about above average temperatures as we get into around here Monday, going into Tuesday, and then by the time we get into Wednesday, getting into Thursday, Friday, warmer temperatures continuing their way through, even as we get into next week. And when I say next week, I mean really the week after next week, because it is still Saturday. But if we go on all the way through into Sunday of April the 19th, what do we see? That cold front. Cold front moving its way over into the east, and now we have really cool conditions trying to move their way through, but it will not be as like cool, meaning like 10 degrees below average, 15 degrees below average, anything like that. For now, at least. Obviously, that can change, like right here, this is on Wednesday. But before that, we're not seeing anything 10 to 15 degree below average wise until we get into maybe midweek that week. And then we're still, looking at 10, we're 15 degrees above average here at points, but you're not seeing anything kind of too consistent. So this is where once we get to around that 300-hour mark, that 270, 280, that's where things start to just kind of get a bit crazy, get a bit out of hand, get a bit active, just because we're talking about a shift back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And obviously because these temperatures are also changing from possibly below average to the nighttime to above average during the daytime, it's kind of hard to definitely tell and see. But from just an average point of view, it looks like it probably will be below average as we get into not next week, but the week after next week potentially. So that cold front will really change up our weather as we go into next weekend. And as we go in and look at our actual temperatures as well, we're going to push this into Monday. We're talking about Monday afternoon, we're in like the 80s, going into Monday night, going into Tuesday, we're around 84, 85, 86. Wednesday comes along, we're talking about upper 80s, and then by the time we get into Thursday, what are we looking at here? 90s. We're talking about 90s throughout a good amount of the state. As we get throughout Thursday, Friday, again, possibly seeing some 90s again, and then by the time we get into Saturday, of not obviously today's Saturday, but next week Saturday, we're talking about some more 90s potentially. So definitely, seems like the more that we get towards that weekend of next weekend, the hotter it seems to get. But obviously, right as we're in the 90s, what happens? Cold front comes through, knocks those temperatures right down again to where we're talking about high temperatures only in the 70s. We're talking about low temperatures down to the 40s again, the 50s. We're talking about temperatures potentially down even to the low 40s. Thursday, we're talking about Thursday the 23rd here, maybe back into the 70s a little bit, but definitely we're going to break or return back up into the 80s and 90s again, just, we won't know when until we get closer and closer, but I will say this, next week is going to continue to be above average, and temperatures next week will continue to increase, and that's something that you should definitely take away from this, and then as we get into the week after next week, we're definitely talking about possibly some cooler temperatures again. Rainfall, on the other hand, rainfall is just not going to stay with us. It's going to continue to just be below average in terms of our rainfall. And honestly, I believe that we are going to continue to just see drought problems as we go into like the next 7 days, 14 days, however many days it is until we get some beneficial rainfall. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, again, you know how to. Just join us here at 9 o'clock p.m., being a subscriber as well, and you will be able to chat. So let's go on and talk with the audience first, starting off with My Aunt Lula first, she says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I pray that everyone had a wonderful day. Well, thank you so much for that. Today in Georgetown was beautiful. High today was around 82, and currently they're at 68. So thank you so much for that weather report. Glad to hear that was a beautiful day over there. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. Got to around 84 degrees here in Moncks Corner. Currently it's around 69. Well, thank you so much for that weather report from you. My Nana says, hi, Jay. A nice hot day today. Thank you so much for that weather report. Hello to you. And then my Aunt Lula says, I was able to do some yard work. Glad to hear so. Remember, I said if you don't want to be out working in the 90s, definitely get that work done this weekend. Mr. Chris says, I'm praying for some rainfall. We definitely need it. Absolutely. Everybody in the state needs it. Mr. Chris also said, I did my yard work yesterday before it got hot. And then as we continue our way down, yes, rain will surely help us, especially when it's garden time. I heard some people saying that they may not even try and plant flowers this year just because of the drought and just how little rainfall we've been getting. A lot of people are saying that they're not going to try and plant anything. So, I don't know how many people that applies to here, but I've seen some people saying that they're not going to plant anything just because of the drought that's ongoing. And it's just might not be the time, yeah. Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free, helps the channel grow, and gets vital information out to those who need it. Absolutely. We've had around a good 8 people tune in tonight and only 4 likes, so go and hit the like button if you have not already. Hit the subscribe button and hit the share button. Share it with everyone that you know. Miles Lewis says, I'm getting my mind set for the hot conditions next week. Same here. Then my Aunt Cheryl comes in, and says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, weatherman. The weather in Fayetteville is very nice today. I hope it was nice down there in Charleston. Have a good evening. Enjoy. Oh, so you're not over there inside of Philadelphia. Well, we will still go on and give you that forecast for you. But thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the weather report down there as well. Then Maya Lou says, nephew, you said a cold front is coming back. How cold? Hopefully not freezing. No, we're not talking about freezing temperatures. I think we're done with freezing temperatures for the year. I think that we are. I just don't see it unless a huge cold front comes through. And of course, nothing's impossible. So it's possible. But for right now, I'm not seeing any sort of signs of any sort of freezing temperatures for the rest of the year. So hopefully it stays like that. We'll see what happens. But obviously, as we continue more and more into May, that chance of freezing temperatures become less and less. While the 90s, 70s, not bad. And then Terrell says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. Then my Aunt Lewis says, it works me harder when I get to water every day. Well, honestly, I have a drought-resistant plant myself, so I honestly don't usually water any day, which actually reminds me, I probably have to water it soon. But it's drought resistant. It can go 7 days without water. But obviously, I should probably still water it more than that. But that's all that I can see here throughout the chat. So let's go on now and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 areas outside of South Carolina, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and give them their forecast for them. Starting off with San Antonio first, low temperatures tonight at 69, high temperature for tomorrow at 78, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 69. Slight chance of showers tonight, and severe thunderstorms are expected tomorrow. Rather be around you, near you, wherever it may be. Definitely, severe thunderstorms are in the equation for you tomorrow. And then there also is a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow night as well. So make sure that you are aware of that. You may get to test out your umbrella you may actually be able to test your umbrella tomorrow. And not only with rainfall, but potentially with some wind as well. So breezy conditions, rainy conditions, that's a perfect test right there. Perfect test. Now, in terms of your severe weather, excessive rainfall, obviously we just talked about severe thunderstorms definitely being possible, especially as you get into tomorrow. Let's go in and check out the risk. Well, tomorrow you do have a slight risk of severe weather. What is it for? It is for a 2% chance of tornadoes, meaning that you could have isolated tornadoes, EF0, EF1 rating or so. And then severe wind, you have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour or so. So make sure you're aware of that. And then also damaging hail. You have a 15% risk of damaging hail of up to an inch in diameter. Other than that, though, seems like that you are done with severe weather and excessive rainfall. Excessive rainfall, I believe that you are that you're not in the clear, actually. I take that back. You're not in the clear. That is for tomorrow. Tomorrow, slight risk of excessive rainfall, meaning that you should watch out for flash flooding tomorrow as well. Ponding on roadways, ditches, backyards being piled up. Anything that may not usually flood, just watch for it. Usually just watch for it, because you really don't start to see that until you get to around like the moderate to high area. That's when you start to see areas that don't usually flood, but slight risk. Slight risk are sometimes unpredictable as well in their damage. So make sure that you just are aware of it as well. And then in terms of your future, it does look like that you are going to mainly just be in the 80s for the foreseeable future, all the way through into next weekend. And then in terms of your precipitation also seeming like it's going to stay with you, stay active as you go, not only throughout the beginning of the week, but it's going to take a bit of a pause as you get into like Wednesday. And then it kind of starts right back up again next weekend as well. So that's it for you. In terms of Raleigh, North Carolina, next, low temperatures tonight at 54, high temperature for tomorrow at 82, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 61. Slight chance of showers tonight. They did add it between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. Between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. Now, right now, seems like that you are in the clear right now, but there is some isolated drizzles going on just to your west over there, just to the north and east of Greensboro, near Reidsville, and then also near Welcome, North Carolina. So, kind of here and there, but for right now, you're good. No precipitation tomorrow. And then in terms of your severe weather, excessive rainfall, not expected at this time. I think that it's kind of more likely just going to be fire weather, which you do actually have a risk of fire weather on Monday, April the 13th. So make sure that you are aware of that. Don't burn anything on Monday, or if you are planning to burn anything on Monday, definitely don't do it on Monday, because you have a 40 to a 69% probability of fire weather within 12 miles of a given point on Monday. So don't burn anything. Not recommended at all. And then in terms of your excessive rainfall, obviously nothing. Again, no precipitation. Now, if we go on and look at your future in terms of temperatures are actually going to be up into the 90s. I mean, Wednesday, 92, 93 on Thursday, 94 next week, Saturday. So temperatures for you are going to get warm as you go all the way up there. Then for Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 40, high temperatures for tomorrow at 66, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 51. Precipitation not expected at this time until possibly Monday night, but it's only like a 20%. In terms of your severe weather, excessive rainfall, nothing's expected there. Temperatures for you for the future, you're also going to be up in the 90s. We're talking about Wednesday, 90 degrees, Thursday, 89, Friday going into Saturday, back into like the low 80s, but still, that's pretty warm for Philadelphia standards. And then finally, for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 63, high temperatures for tomorrow at 81, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 64. Thunderstorms are expected tonight. So make sure that you are aware of that. And showers and storms are also expected tomorrow as well. Now, for your severe weather and for your excessive rainfall, obviously you do have a risk. We've been talking about you for a long time now, and your severe weather train is finally here. Tomorrow, you indeed do have a slight risk of severe weather. That is for a 2% risk of tornadoes, a 15% chance of damaging winds, and a 15% chance of damaging hail of up to an inch in diameter. Monday, you have a slight risk of severe weather as well. That's a 15% risk of damaging storms. Then you also have a 15% risk of severe weather again on Tuesday and Wednesday. So the days are continuing to kind of just rile up onto each other as you continue throughout the beginning part of next week. And then excessive rainfall is no better. Tonight, going into potentially even Sunday, you're talking about scattered to isolated flash flooding. Now, right now, if I currently look and see what's going on throughout Duncan right now, Duncan is dry. You do have a shower to your north that could have just passed by a little bit earlier. But for right now, you're in the clear for now. You do have some more storms over to your west. The track of them right now seem to be going more towards the north and east, so you may not be impacted by too much tonight, but for right now, there is honestly not too much going on except for down towards your south, and there's not even a severe thunderstorm warning right now near you either. Now for your future, it honestly looks like that you will continue to stay warm. I mean, even as you get throughout this storm system, throughout like these multiple rounds of severe weather, you're going to continue to stay in the 80s, maybe until next weekend. But for right now, continuing to stay in the 80s, you're obviously going to be breezy as these storms pass by you. And even if you don't get a storm, you're still going to be talking about wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. And then rainfall-wise, with severe weather, that's going to continue all throughout next week. I mean, we're talking about a chance of rainfall every single day as you go into tomorrow, going all the way through into Saturday. So make sure that you are aware of that and keeping that in mind. So now that that's out of the way, let's go on and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. Well, for right now, it honestly does seem like that a very active spring pattern with tropical concerns across the Pacific, heavy rainfall will continue to go on and also impact Hawaii this weekend. Meanwhile, we continue to monitor a developing typhoon that may affect Guam into early next week. For the lower 48, heavy snow for the mountains of California this weekend, increased threat for severe thunderstorms next week for the plains, and we're continuing to see that excessive record-breaking warmth over here in the east. So a lot of things going on, and you just got to make sure that everybody that you know, make sure that they're prepared, no matter if they're in the west with the snowfall, or the northwest with the rainfall, or the mountains of California with the snowfall, or the severe weather going on in the central U.S., going all the way up into the Midwest, or the fire weather over there inside of the central plains up there, or the high plains, or if they're talking about the record-breaking heat over here in the east, it's just everything's going on. Or if you're talking about heavy rainfall in Hawaii, just all over the place things are happening. All over the place things are happening. So make sure that you are ready for it. Make sure that other people that you know are ready for it. And that's all I have to say here for tonight. Let's go in and check out the top fans of the night for tonight. Then we'll go in and check out the audience one more time. Top fans of the night seems like that it was a three-way competition. But as we do, we count them up just to make sure we don't miss anything. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So my Aunt Lula did win tonight. Then Mr. Chris got number 2 and Thad got number 3. So congratulations to the three of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, being a subscriber, being active, and also being here early. So let's go ahead and give them a round of applause. Continuing to look at the chat, that says, good evening, just from the 360 Weather family. Good evening to you. I'm sorry for my tardiness, not a problem. It was a cloudy, gloomy day here in San Antonio. No rain today. We sure need it, though. Well, thank you so much for that weather report. And like I said, good evening to you. No problem at all being tardy, at all. At least you made it. That's my motto. At least you made it. And I don't see anything else here for me to really talk about. So make sure, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Right now we are at 726, trying to get to that main goal of 800. We've been doing some modifications. I kind of told y'all a bit earlier that some modifications are on the way for the channel. I mean, you can already see this new screen right here, a lot better than what it was yesterday. If you don't remember, go on and check out yesterday's live stream. But this is, in my opinion, a huge upgrade, and this is just the start. A lot of more things are coming out that I'm not going to reveal. There's a lot of new stuff coming in. So this whole channel is going to be revamped. Going to be completely revamped. But that's all. Make sure you tune back in tomorrow morning for your Sunday morning forecast update. Apologies for no video this morning. I had a meeting I had to go to, so I do apologize for that. But we should be here tomorrow morning for our Sunday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday, and make sure you hit those 2 buttons before you leave, if you're new.